Good morning and welcome to Kramer's Corner. It is Monday the 18th of December and we will start the last week up till Christmas, probably with a little bit of a correction from its peaks here. We have the S&P 500 forming this doji-like candle here Thursday, Friday. We didn't get a negative one, so it's not the most perfect top and reversal pattern. However, I do believe that we will have a minor correction up until the Christmas holidays. What is interesting is that usually we have the little bit of a Christmas rally just the few days up towards Christmas and over the Christmas holidays. And maybe this year it's a little bit different. However, we are still in a bullish trend, and I think we will move higher going into the first week of the new year. So let's see about that. However, if we see a correction, it's probably not going to be a larger one, probably down to around 4,600 before moving higher. Nasdaq 100 also looks a little bit toppish, but again, there's no clear top and reversal pattern. There's no divergence on the RSI, indicating we could see a move higher in the coming days. But again, I think there will be a little bit toppish here towards Christmas. 16,765. We had the previous all-time high there, and I think it will be taken out somewhere between now and end of year, possibly going into the new year. So a new all-high time should be expected shortly. On the European markets, as I am recording this morning, the DAX is just about to open, and if we move on to the future in a few seconds, I can say that, well, we had this bearish candle here on the 14th. That was Thursday, Friday. It did close a little bit below this minor support here at 16,550. And what we can see here this morning, it is starting to selling off a little bit, and you can also see the RSI pointing lower. I think we will see a correction down to around 16,530. If we move below that, well, then there's actually potential down to 16,080, around that level, which is this 38.2 retracement of the steep run, very narrow uptrend here. So a correction in the card. However, RSI is not showing divergence, meaning this peak here is nicely corresponding with this peak here. So we should see DAX moving higher, possibly end of year, early January. The AX Amsterdam also higher, 759. Got rejected there, couldn't really penetrate. Well, it did penetrate, but it couldn't close above, and I think we'll see a little bit of a correction. Market is fairly muted this morning, as we can see here on the Netherlands 25 CFD and slash future. But still, I think we'll see a correction a little bit lower towards 780, 775 in coming days. Belgium market testing the support at 37.28 here this morning. And we can see also moving on to the future and the Belgium CFD. You can see how it's testing here 37.20, and I think we'll also here we will see a correction, possibly down to the upper 3600, where we have the 200 moving average giving some support here. We also have the lower rising trend line, so I don't think the correction will be larger than this, down to around 3600. CAC 40. Also a little bit toppish here with the bearish candle there, the 14th and the 15th, a little bit undecisive. So I think we'll see a test of 75.26 around the level, and I think we'll see a test of the lower rising trend line here. So I expect a little bit of a setback, possibly down to around 7,400. And again here also on the RSI, there is no divergence on the RSI, meaning that we could see higher CAC 40 levels in coming weeks. SMI from Switzerland failed to close above 11,245, which is a fairly strong resistance. Expected a little bit of setback also there, down to around 11,000. We have the 200 moving average giving some support there, and we have the lower rising trend line also. So expect a little bit of a setback also here. No RSI divergence, and still bullish. Expect a correction before moving higher. On the FX front, well, euro dollar couldn't break above the 110 resistance, very strong resistance around there. So for a third time, it got rejected end of last week. I think we could have another go, but what is interesting is that now we have the RSI actually forming a you can say a divergence here. We have lower values there than here, but it actually, I think, was a slightly higher close. But nevertheless, I think we will have another go at 110, but it really needs to break above 110. If it can't break above 110, then we could see further sliding back to 108 level, potentially a little bit lower. If it does close above 110, well, then we're looking at 111.30 around that level, which is the 138.2 projection. On the cable, it actually did close above the 127.35, but then it got hammered back down. I think we will have another go at it, and we should see a move towards 129 around that level, and then I think we will see a bit of exhaustion. But we are a little bit in a limbo here, and we also have to remember that the FX market will, trading will become thinner and thinner towards the year end. So we could see quite a lot of volatility in general, because there's simply not that much liquidity in the market around the Christmas holidays. Dollar yen, couple of times, 1, 2, 3 times actually, failed to close below 141.70 level, 75. There's a really strong support here, and I think we will see dollar yen bouncing further back above the 200 moving average, possibly up to around 144, 145, but it will not turn into an uptrend, not anytime soon, but let's cross that bridge when we get there. But expect some bounce on the yen pairs in general. Here we have euro yen bouncing also from the 200 moving average. It couldn't actually test the 153.10 support level only this one time here about 10 days ago. So expect also a rebound there. If it does break about 157.70, well, then it maybe could start a little bit of an uptrend, but there is some overhead resistance. We have the 55 moving average coming down. We have the 200 moving average coming down. So I think for the remainder of the year, it will be stuck in a range between 153 and possibly 157.70 around that level. So expect some range bound. But again, I expect volatility in general as market becomes thinner and thinner. On the Aussie yen, bouncing from the lower rising trend line here the second time, couldn't break below it, and I think we'll see a test of the 96.10 resistance. If it does close above, well, then we could see a resume, the uptrend resuming, and we could get back above the cloud. There will be some resistance, minor resistance there at 96.70, which is the 61.8 retracement level. So look out for 96.10 right there. On the dollar index, let's move to the dollar index, which actually touched the 101.62 support, just spot on, and I think we'll now see a correction, possibly moving towards the 103.22. Whether we'll get there is debatable. And we have the 200 moving average coming down, and here up here we have the 55 and the 100 moving average. So I think it will be a little bit of a struggle to get back above 103.22, and then it will probably be caught in this range up to around 104. But I'm not quite sure we'll get there quite yet. We're still in a downtrend, and there will be a biased underlying downtrend. Again, if we break below 101.62, well, then we are looking at 178, but expect a little bit of a rebound. Gold is struggling to get up upside momentum. We are still in a bullish trend. There's no divergence, but we need to get the RSI back above 60 before we can really get some upside momentum into gold. However, I think we will have another go today at the trend line rise here, and we should see gold to move towards the 61.8 retracement of this sell-off here at 2070, around that level, possibly a little bit higher, but that will be a little bit of a struggle. But give it a couple of days, and think also over the Christmas holidays periods, we will also see a stronger gold market. Also silver starting to pick up pace here again this morning. If we get RSI back above 60, well, then it will further add to the upside potential. A little bit of resistance at the 61.8 at retracement at 24.60 level, but I think in general we will move higher. Also, let's touch upon the platinum a little bit, which actually did confirmed an uptrend with the close here on the 14th of December. We went back below the 952.30 support, but we are in an uptrend, and I think it's just down to get a little bit of strength, and then we'll have a move towards 990, 1000 in the coming week. Copper struggling a little bit, but it is also back above the 382, and I think we will see a test of obviously I think we will see a move higher towards the 400 here also in the coming week. On the oil front, little bit struggling here to get back above the 77.25 resistance, but I think we'll see a move towards the 80, testing the upper trend line here in the coming weeks. The WTI, we have 72.65 resistance, and the upper trend line here also expect some struggling around that level. Finally, on the US 10-year, there's still a potential down to around 383 support level. We are in a downtrend, but I think it seems like we are exhausting a little bit. I think towards the year end we will see a little bit of a bounce towards the 4% again, and the 200 moving average potentially closing above. All right, that's all for today from my home office. I'll talk to you again tomorrow. Have a nice day and happy trading.